Okay, we've got Henrique de Castro now, who is Vice President for Global Media and Platforms, including a startup called, what's it, YouTube, for a company from California, Google, I think it is, right? And he's going to talk for about a half an hour. And we're just going to keep on rolling here. And John Miller, we've just got confirmation, is here. The Eagle has landed, so we've got all our speakers. So we'll just keep rolling right through this. Thank you.
Good afternoon. I'm happy that I'm reminded that I only have 30 minutes, so I'm probably the only thing between now and dinner, which I'm happy that you will enjoy tonight. The topic is convergence. So initially I thought that it would be about convergence, and is it going to be about how we converge into this financial crisis? But actually it's not. It's about how media has converged, and which is probably a topic that I feel more comfortable to talk to. So before convergence, actually, we need to step back and look what happened in the past. And what we saw is that actually most media transformations have been about divergence instead of convergence. The radio, if you would take a radio ad and you put it on TV, would be an odd ad, so probably would not work, would work the content. And that's probably the beginning, that's what happened. You had very bad ads and very bad content on TV, and as we evolved, we could start seeing better content and better ads around this content. But what's going to happen in this conversion, and what are the implications for the players in the media industry? The first one is devices. Used to have TV, used to have PCs, notebooks, mobile phones, cameras, and these were running in parallel, and we will not use them at the same time. Well, I just met the people from Samsung and LG, and all TV devices are coming now with web browsers. So what's going to see is actually the internet is coming to your living room. Implications, you used to see your PC, watch your PC and your TV at the same time. Now you cannot do the same. You're going to see much more plays and internet on your TV set. Secondly, you're going to see mobility. Mobility is going to be bigger and bigger. When you look at the numbers of video downstreams, all the plays you see on the video side, on mobile, is increasing dramatically. We have been looking at the stats for iPhone, Google Android, and all these smartphones, and the consumption is going. So internet is going to your living room, and internet is going to go mobile more and more. What are the implications for that? A few. First is that we see also conversion of content, the same content, and someone was talking today on one breakout that Susan Boyle had almost more views on internet than it had on TV, and I'm sure you guys are all aware of Susan Boyle. So what we see here is that the content is going to converge to multi-platform distribution, and so is going to happen to the ads. So if you look at campaigns like Evian or Sony Bravia, all those campaigns are going to become cross-media. More and more advertisers and agencies are looking at how this content is going to be distributed. So that conversion is coming. Second is conversion of time. I mentioned a bit, prime time is actually my time. I don't want 8 o'clock, I don't want to see the news when someone decides what's new for me or not. I want to decide when these are news and when I want to watch them. So this is going to mean that when I want it, I'm going to get it. And if you don't deliver, someone else was going to deliver. Last is a phenomenon that we are not seeing that yet as much, but we start seeing some signs of it, which is global distribution. You used to have a distribution highly fragmented by country, by type of content consumption. Actually, we see more and more global distribution deals. And that is going to change the way, first, what is a C4 or is a broadcaster? Is it limited to his own country, or actually is going to have coverage globally? There's more views in some UK content in India or the US than in UK itself. What are the implications for distribution? So that's one of the things we're going to see more and more. And lastly is a very promiscuous world of the internet, where your competitor is actually your partner, is actually your supplier, and it's your client. So all this is going to be more promiscuous, and if you don't feel comfortable on that, you're going to struggle to live in this industry. So if we believe on these trends and this convergence, which actually I think we all believe, because if we go around, I saw everybody taking photos with their mobile, calling, watching videos. So this convergence is definitely a reality. The question we have is, what are the implications for this group? What are the implications for advertisers? What are the implications for creative agencies? What are the implications for media agencies? What are the implications for content owners? Right? That's what we want to know. And when you look at it, we saw a very, very interesting thing, which is internet start first as an information platform. You all remember the internet when you did the famous dial-up. It's moving now. The last 3 years, we saw increment of e-commerce has been the second most successful segment. But what we're going to see is that the fastest growing segment of the internet is going to be media, entertainment. Entertainment is going to be big on the internet. So what's going to happen? It's going to create a new industry. We saw TV is a roughly $150 billion business worldwide. That $150 billion business took us 70 years to build and a year and a half to destroy a bit, but we're going to recover, we hope. Then we created $17 billion business on display. Remember, there was no display advertising in 1997, or meaningful one. In 10 years, we have built a $17 billion market. And what we see is that this year, video online should be around $1 billion market. And we expect by 2012, video online should be a $5 billion market. And this is actually a relatively conservative assumptions. Depends on how big advertisers are going to adopt the platforms. The inventory start getting there, and we're going to see a huge increase on this growth of this industry. So, if we all believe this in some shape or form and size, which we will all have to figure out, let's see what are the implications. The first implication is people talk about, how do I measure this? I have been measuring impressions, but is an impression on TV the same impression online? I used the famous GRP. I was comfortable. The GRP was an impression across different TVs. I could duplicate, so I was happy. Well, the reality is that online has a different type of engagement. The impression is not enough, because as a brand advertiser or as an advertiser, I don't really care about impressions. What I care is what the impact of those impressions are. So the implication for the measurement is that, first, targeting. You're going to have much more targeting, and as you have more targeting, you need to have compare like for like, what we call useful impressions. Wasted impressions, the famous 50% of the advertiser you wasted, but I don't know which one it is. Now we can actually reduce that significantly. Secondly, I don't really care about impressions. I care about what's the impact of those impressions. Is it brand lift? Is it recall? Whatever it is. So as a huge challenge for the industry, how do I compare different media and what's the impact of that media on advertiser, and how do I allocate my dollars? Second thing is implications for creative agencies. Nice TV ad actually is not a TV ad, is a YouTube ad. So is this going to be always the case? It's probably not going to be always the case. But in a lot of time, you need to understand when your creative and your commercial can be transferred across platforms, and actually we cannot be transferred across platforms, and you need to build a new set of TV ads or video ads or ads to be distributed across different platforms. So this is a huge challenge, and it's a challenge that, as Maurice said, you need to take risks. because all prices were, all can was built on big TV ads prices, and those are not going to be the future as much. Secondly is, how do I measure impact, right? I look at, do I serve the same audience? And I was watching during the panel today, and it was interesting to hear that actually on demographics above 2025, TV tends to do cross-selling from TV to their web platform, but demographics below 10 years old, actually they start on internet, on their websites, and actually they do the cross-selling from the website to the TV. So for demographics below 10 years old, 10 to 15 years old, we need to be prepared that the main point of destination is going to be the web, and the web is going to be the window for media, and then the cross-sell is going to be to other platforms. So this is a kind of, is going to change the way I plan, what's my reach, and actually how do I allocate my dollars. And the models most of the industry has, that has a nice GRP baked into a nice econometric model to do their planning, actually is obsolete. It's not going to be obsolete while video is just 2 or 3% of the market, but when its videos get to 10, 15% of the market, it's going to be obsolete. And if you go into the demographics that we just talked, younger demographics, actually the mix is much higher. So you need to really understand, am I measuring the impact and my dollar spending in the right way, or actually I don't know how to do it? And what the investment you need to do. Measurement, planning, assessment. So this is what agencies need to do and work with advertisers. One of the things we also see is that the focus group model, where I do a concept, test the concept in a small focus group, do pre-campaign testing, do campaign, do post-campaign testing, is going to change. Online, we can do it on 1% of the population. So basically, online enables you to be online, on-the-go focus group. That means that you can test the campaigns as you go along. So instead of having 1 or 2 or 3 commercials, you can have 20, 30, 50, and test them on 1% of the population and understand what works or not and change it by the hour. So this is going to have implications also from the creative side to the planning side, how you're going to measure and how you're going to allocate your dollars. Lastly, we all we have been living in the world of bundling. You have a good piece of content, you bundle that content with a good piece of creative or ad that is impactful for the audience, and the audience gets, the advertiser gets happy because the audience consumed that message. That moved to brand entertainment. We believe that brand entertainment was a more embedded brand experience into the entertainment part. But what we see now is actually, this was the serial world. As the world goes on non-linear, people can mix and create watch lists, and these watch lists or playlists is going to be completely different. So I can actually create what we call customization, which each ads go for a specific audience to a specific content on those audiences. So it's going to is a compounded exercise that only, as Maurice said, only technology can help to solve, because the complication and the complexity is going to increase dramatically. Lastly, and I want to keep in my 30 minutes, there's a huge implication for content owners. I used to produce my content. I used to distribute my content myself. And it was a very, very controlled environment. And you're going to see now is that actually audiences are across different platforms. So if I keep the content to myself, I'm not going to monetize the content as well as I could or I should. So people going to distribute, and we see deals like C4 that put their catch-up content not only on C4 but on YouTube. Is that because they realize that this content is going to be consumed across different platforms. So what we need to understand is there's probably going to be type of two winners, the owners and control winners that have just expansion of their normal broadcasting or their normal content distribution, and the main destinations. And then there's going to be the ones that are going to have the most value for the content owners, and then there's going to be a multitude of different distribution that going to complicate the scheme. But the most important message for us is we cannot control the distribution anymore because we reduce the value. So we need to do multi-distribution, and to doing multi-distribution, where are you going to put your bets? So conversion, fantastic. This is different from the past. It's not a diversion, but it's a conversion. Secondly, there's a lot of implications, and all of these participants, advertisers, creative agencies, media agencies, and content owners, and also content distributors will need to rethink their business models. Of course, the good thing is this is not going to happen overnight. We have a window, but it's not a very long window. We're going to have probably 3 years before video online is going to become what we discuss, $5 to $10 billion business, which becomes relevant. So until it's their side, it's not going to be relevant, but when it reaches that dimension, you're going to have. And then when you, as good marketers, when you segment that into demographics or regions, you go to and see that in some areas, this is already very, very relevant. So I would invite everyone on the industry to think, what are the audiences that this is already relevant, and how can I learn very quickly to build the capability? Because once your competitor builds the capability, it's going to be the catch-up mode, and that's going to be more difficult. Okay, so I promised I did a bit of Conversion Express, which I'm a little bit thirsty now, but I don't know if, do we have time? Is it a question time? Is finished? It seems, thank you very much, and we want to see you later.
Thank you. Thank you, Henrique. That's fabulous. Do you want to take a couple questions?
I asked that. I didn't know.
Oh, okay. It's up to you.
I am happy to have.
Anybody have a quick word? Sure. I don't. Wait, here comes the mic.
There's someone running to you.
Annalise from Soup.
I was trying to shout. Your Channel 4 extension model, can you explain how this works for them in terms of revenue and why they've chosen, if you can disclose this, not to do themselves, not to do an iPlayer or ITV.com type model?
I think actually they do both. They realize that after the broadcasting, the catch-up window has a value, but they will not be able to capture all the audience, because the audience is going to be to aggregators or somewhere else. They want their inventory to be there. And the question is there cannibalization or not? And actually the tests show that there's no cannibalization. So you want to do that. So what you want to do is, as I have the ownership, how do I broaden the distribution as much as I can to capitalize? They sell the ads, we sell the ads. Because a lot of these are also TV extensions of deals, right? So it's a lot of times you just do a TV deal with advertiser and you sell across platforms.
Okay. Henrique, thank you so much. We're